the sunshine.
Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for watching. This is episode 36 of Coffee Thoughts. I had to check what episode it was because I always forget. But episode 36, almost at 40, almost at 50, almost at 100. Not really. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. This is, it's been going on for a minute. So, alright. I hope you guys are doing well today. For some reason the camera feels like it's really high today, but we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. So I just got back from the gym, and I was just chilling in the parking lot, listening to another podcast actually, and sometimes I just like to sit in my car and listen because it's helpful, and you know, I love listening to podcasts, as you guys know. I don't need to repeat myself. Anyway, got coffee again. So I was kind of honestly struggling this week to figure out what I wanted to talk about. And I really have to say thank you guys again, because it is super helpful when you leave comments. So I just went through like all the comments on last week's episode and read through them. And you guys have a lot of really interesting ideas. And I was like reading them like, man, like now I have too many things I want to talk about. But I think today what I am going to focus on, because this is a question that I have been asked. A lot of times when I go on tour, I get asked this question. Are you tired? No, I'm just kidding. That is a question I get asked a lot when I'm on tour. Answer is usually yes, but that's not what today's episode is about. So today's episode I'm going to focus on more of a musical thing, which is building a following. And so this is more directed toward people who are, you know, really just like starting your own business, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter, because I really think the same principles apply to like photography, music, film, selling shit, like whatever you're doing, painting rocks and selling them, like doesn't really matter, because I really just think it comes down to the same thing. So I'm going to talk about that today and my personal experience with that. I've talked about it a little bit over the years here and there, but I think it would be good to do an updated video about it, because I obviously, like, I'm 24 now. I started when I was like 13 or 14, so I have a way different perspective on it now than I did. So before I do that, I just want to say there was another comment that I saw, and somebody said, they said, sometimes I wonder what you went through that you can see life with such a positive view, because a lot of my podcasts are about that, and a lot of my music is about that, and I just, like, that really stuck out to me, because, yeah, I think that's one thing that I always try to do, and it was just interesting to read that, and it just kind of made me think, and I just want to talk about that for a minute, because I know a lot of people, like, probably the reason you watch my podcast, or the reason you, like, are searching for stuff on the internet to help you is because you're struggling. And firstly, I just want to say, like, I don't always feel that way. Like, just because I, you know, post stuff, videos, like, when I'm happy or when I'm feeling insightful or sharing information, that doesn't mean I always feel that way. And I just want you guys to know, like, I also have days or weeks or months where I'm, you know, struggling too. I'm depressed. I'm, like, in my head. I have crazy anxiety. And I have to say, probably the main reason that I choose to work at developing a positive worldview and a positive perspective on life is because, number one, from what I've studied over the years and practiced, I really do believe for a fact that the way that you think and the things that you believe and the things that you say do shape your reality, and you do attract those things into your life. Whatever it is, the law of attraction, you call it whatever you want. It's crazy, and to me it's very real. So it's become important to me to work at that, and that's not to say that I'm always perfect, because I have patches of my life where I really fuck up, and I end up attracting all the shit that I don't want and the bad stuff, and I've seen it happen over and over in my life, as much as with the good things. So it's just kind of constant confirmation that that is the truth, and that's what I believe. And knowledge and just doing everything I can to understand myself better does help to alleviate anxiety and alleviate problems, even if it's just a little bit at a time. And that's another reason that I do it, and that's another reason that I am constantly working at it, you know, like every day, every single day. I don't think I really miss a day. I watch at least like one or two like speeches, you know, from philosophers, or just videos about how to be better, like 10 things you can do to be happier, or 10 things to be more confident. Like I watch little bits of that stuff every day. Some days I'll watch like hours of that stuff, or just the, theology, theories about the universe, like talking about your ego and, just that kind of stuff. I just love absorbing that stuff, because the more that I absorb it, the more it builds my perspective, and the more I'm able to, when I have situations in my life come up that are difficult, I can apply that. And it becomes kind of second nature to do. Even though some days I have to really push to do that, depending what's happening, it just helps. And so I think, just to answer that question, because I think it kind of ties into a lot of what I do, in a way it's kind of a coping mechanism, but it's also something that I really enjoy to work on, and that's become important to me over the years. So, that being said, let's talk about music. Let's have a sip of coffee first, though. Okay, so building a following. Say We Can Fly. Say We Can Fly. What a strange thing. Because when I was just a little 13-year-old kid and wrote my first song, I never would have imagined that it would turn into my entire life, that it would turn into my full-time job, take me around the world, literally let me meet and play in front of thousands of people, like just be in situations that I had dreamed of as a kid. I never knew that when I started. I never went into it with the intention of, I want to be famous, I want to make money, I want to tour, I never went into it with that. So it's weird sometimes to think back, because it was this very innocent, I'm just doing it because I like making songs. I don't even think about people listening to them. So number one, it was never my intention. And I had no idea, the journey, the last 10 years, the shit that I have learned and that I've seen and experienced because of music is that's my life. And I'm so lucky and I'm so thankful, because I would have never imagined, the shit that I have seen, that I just feel so blessed to have seen, because so many people that I know, it's not to say that what I'm doing is better, it's just I'm thankful, because I know I could have just stayed in my hometown, and a lot of people that I know are still doing what they were doing 10 years ago, which is fine if they're happy. I'm just saying, I was never happy being stuck in one spot, and I'm just so thankful, because I've had so much life experience because of music and because of Say We Can Fly. And it's led me not only with life experience, but also just to grow as a human being. It's that this has been my lesson, and I hope it continues to be my lesson in this life, of trying to develop my spirit or my soul, or just myself, whatever. I feel I was put on this path in order, it's not just to make music and to experience that, it's literally been to grow. That's my avenue for growth in this lifetime, has been through music, because it's way more than that to me now, at this point especially. But kind of my point is, it all comes down to the same thing. It comes back to the same thing. The reason that I am able to even do that in the first place is because of the people that follow me, and is because of you guys watching my video right now or listening to my music. So it's this circle that I would not be able to do it without that foundation of you and people caring, because that's what supports me the entire way. It's even if I have patches where I go off course, or I make a mistake, or I fuck up, or I do something that I regret, or I just put out a bad song, it's still having that foundation of okay, it's okay, I can get back up, I can patch this up, I just need to work harder. And it's having that foundation not only keeps me afloat, but also keeps me motivated and inspired when I go through patches to grow and to do better next time, because I do think about it, it's if I didn't have that, so many times in my life, I don't know if I would have come back from certain things. And part of the reason that I do focus on growth so much is because I do now at this point, I want to help make people's lives better as well. And it's I don't always maybe come off that way, you know what I mean? It's I'm always posting about what I'm doing, but the reason that I do that is because I hope that when I share things that I'm making, or I talk about things that I've experienced, that it will help in some way. And I don't know, it's just really this crazy thing that if I do think about sometimes, it is really emotional and really intense that so many people know about what I'm doing and care and come to my shows, and that I've met through the years. It's a lot of people that I just never would have imagined. Coming from tiny ass little town in the middle of Ontario, Canada, that's the opposite of what I ever expected for my life. But I'm so thankful for it. So I guess let me try to talk about how, like, the process of that, because what I'm trying to say and what I think the entire point and principle and foundation of all of it, no matter what you're doing, is the connection you have with the people that follow you. Number one, not looking at them as followers is, I think, the first really important thing that you need to know. And no matter what numbers on the screen tell you, or what your insights tell you, your analytics or your views or your Spotify numbers, they're not followers. Those are human beings, and those are people that are literally taking time out of their day to click on your content and support you just by watching it or listening, or reading something or liking a picture. So, number one, you have to maintain that view no matter where you're at, whether you have 10 million people following you or you have 10 people following you. You have to maintain that view. And hopefully for you guys that's like a natural thing, because for me it was always a natural thing, probably just due to my circumstances in life. I was never super popular, I never had a lot of friends, like I wasn't used to that. So anytime somebody approached me through my music, especially like shared like, wow, like this song hit me or this song made sense to me, like it always literally meant so much. And it was like, hug me, you know what I mean? Like it just was like, I want to be your friend. That to me is so kind, like I will never forget that you said that, you know what I mean? And so it was always like a very genuine feeling that I got from that, so it always kind of stayed that way. And it's like over the years, like Warped Tour is a good example, because that's a massive tour where it's just physically draining every day, and it's, it's amazing, but it's just, it's easy on something like that after you've been doing it for a couple years, to when there's 10,000 people a day and you're meeting people all day every day and signing stuff and selling merch and playing. It's easy to get numb to it and just take it for granted. So that's why I'm saying it's important to have that as a value early on in what you're doing, because then when you get to those spots, when you reach your goals, when you start to grow, it's second nature, and you don't lose that, because at the end of the day, that is what is going to drive you for the rest of your life. And I read this book, I don't remember what it was called. It was like basically essentially about how, like, to turn art into a job, you only really need 1,000 people that are super dedicated to you. So the business model was, if you find 1,000 people that will spend $100 on you every year, you can maintain a career for the rest of your life. So just think about that. If there's 1,000 people dedicated that you're super connected with that will spend $100 on what you're doing, even every 2 years, like think about the math on that. That's $50,000. That's $100,000. Like even if you had 500 people, like you don't really need that many people. But the thing is, like, that's why I'm saying connection is so important. It's not about, I'm not trying to talk about the money or that you should focus on that. I'm just saying, like, it's so important to connect with everybody, because if an artist that you really like, and don't just do it because you feel like you should do it, like it's got to actually be important to you. So if there's an artist that you really like, and they tweet you back or they respond to your message, or they like even like your picture, it's like that says something to you. It's like, even though like they didn't like fly to your house and like take you for dinner, it's like they interacted with you in some way. It's like that gives you like a little bit more like, wow, that person actually cares, that person's actually like reading what I'm saying. And it's kind of weird to talk about this, because I'm not on social media as much as I used to be in that way. But I still read everything. I just don't like take as much time to reply, and a lot of times that's because I focus way more on creating every day. And hopefully, if you follow, especially my Instagram, you'll see that I'm like always posting stuff. So I definitely something I need to work on again. But like I'm talking about when I started, that is literally all that I would do. I would literally come home from school, go on my YouTube channel, go on my Twitter, reply to everybody, reply to every message, reply to every tweet, every comment, every day. For years and years, that's all I did. And I did it because I wanted to, and I did it because I was happy to be able to do it, and I was thankful, and I was like meeting new people on the internet, and I was able to have like actual conversations with them and emotional conversations with them. And this is what happened. This is me looking back on it. It's not like I knew this at the time or I had some like ulterior motive. I literally had no clue what I was doing. But what happened was, because I was doing that every day, the people that were following me felt like we were way more connected, you know what I mean? Like on a personal level. It wasn't just about my music or the fact that they watched a video or they listened to a song. It was like we were like friends, you know what I mean? And like that was just something that naturally happened. So it's like when I posted another video, obviously those people are gonna watch it because, you know, like, we're friends. Like, you want to support your friends, you know what I mean? And that's literally what was happening. And I didn't even realize it. And I kept doing it over and over. And eventually, like, they would tell their friends. It's like if one person tells 2 people, if 10 people tell one of their friends, that just doubles the amount of people that are interacted with you. And if you also connect with those 10 new people and then they tell 10 people, it's like it just literally keeps going. And this is what was happening. It just started to build and build and build simply because I was taking the time to connect with people and to reply to people and, you know, focus on making really good, like, just growing with my content. So, like, making better recordings. But the thing is, like, the more I started to connect with people, it's like if I put out a single on iTunes, people actually bought it. And then I had money to start reinvesting back into it in order to make better content. So it's like I used to record in my bedroom on this little, like, 8-track analog mixer, and then it's like I sold my single. I think the first one that I actually sold was Your Heart Was No Place for a Monster Like Me, or it might have been Sleepy Time EP, but like the first one that I really noticed, like, traction was Your Heart Was No Place. And I just remember, like I actually sold, like, I think it was like 50 copies in the first month. I was like, what the fuck, this is awesome. Like, that's never happened. But that was just from, like, years of putting out other stuff and you know, like, not really ever focusing on that. But then, like, focusing on connecting with people. So it's like I actually, like, have a legit sounding single that I got mixed by somebody else because I was working at a grocery store at the time and I had money to do that, and it sounds better than anything I've done before, and I'm shooting a music video for it. And it's going to be my best stuff, and I would share stuff along the way and talk to people about it as I was making it. So when I put it out, it's like everyone's stoked and everybody's like goes to watch it and shares it and buys the single. So it's like then I have money to make a better one next time and get a proper photo shoot done and you know, shoot a bigger budget music video, which I think the next one I did, I can't even remember, I think it might have been Dandelion Necklace. But it's like that's literally the process of it. It's like every time you grow, if you focus on reinvesting in yourself, in your business, even if it's a very small amount of growth, that just keeps, you know, kind of exponentially building itself. And like over years and years, that just is what starts to happen. So I remember, like, I'd been doing that and replying for such a long time, like years. And I think it was in like 2014 or 15 when like I had reached like 10,000 followers on my Facebook page, back when like Facebook pages were popping, and before all the ads and everything. I was just like on there every day at 9 p.m. I would post something every single day. I did not miss a day. If I missed a day, I would like literally like kick my own ass, and like the next day I'd have to post something better. Like, I was so disciplined with it, and it just became such a habit. And that's really important to do at the beginning stages of a business. And I'm not saying it's not always important, but it can get to a point where it does sort of sustain itself and you can focus on, you know, creating more, or just like, you know, self-growth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's kind of the goal, is like to get it to that point. So I was not there yet. So I was doing this every day, and I remember I had reached like 10,000 followers on my Facebook page, and I literally was living at my grandmother's apartment in Lindsay, Ontario. Like this little apartment where I was recording, like, you know, I had to be quiet at night and stuff like that. And it was just like this little tiny room, and I took a walk to go like get coffee or something, and my phone just started fucking vibrating, just like going off. And I was like, what is, I literally like couldn't figure out what it was for a minute. And then I saw that it was my Facebook page, like just shooting up like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, like 50,000, like it just shot up. And within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it was at like 300,000. Like, it shot up so quickly. And then eventually it hit like 600,000 or 700,000 or something, and it just went up. And to this day, I don't really know like exactly what happened, but what I really think happened was, it was that snowball effect of constantly connecting with people, and they would tell somebody, and that person would come in and connecting with them too, and growing my content to the point where it's just like enough people were talking about it and sharing it that it just went boom, and kind of broke through. And that just is kind of what happens sometimes, you know. And I'm like very lucky and very thankful that was happening. But another thing is that the more that you have a social media presence, especially with music, it's like the more real world opportunities will come. So it's like, because I was building connection with people and like talking to people, and you know, everybody, we all kind of just felt like we were just chilling and friends, which is the truth. You know, like Warped Tour came around and was like, hey, here's the survey for what bands you want to see. So I was like, yo guys, like can you please help me? Like, you know, I try not to ask for too much too often. And so it's like when the time comes where it's like, I really need your help. It's like if your friend asks you to help them with something and you care about them and you know, they do their best to care about you, it's like you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's a two-way street. So it's like, what happened was, it was like, hey, like the Warped Tour survey's here. I would love to play. Like, can you guys vote and share? And it was like, boom. Everybody did it. And I got put on Warped Tour. I literally got put on 2015 Vans Warped Tour because I got voted on by enough people. That is literally what happened. And I feel so fucking blessed to be able to say that. And I literally, like, the day that I got the email, I was in fucking tears. Like, I literally cried and I was just so excited. I literally could not believe it. But it was just like this moment of like, wow, like there's the power. Like the power is there. The power is with the people that you connect with and your friends and the other human beings who just care about what you're doing and you care about what they're doing, and you create things to make their lives better, because all business should be based around you're creating a product, doesn't matter what it is, that's going to solve a problem for somebody. So for me, looking at it that way, it's like I create songs that help people through emotional times, or help people deal with their emotions, or help people to get through anxiety. Like that is my problem that I'm solving for people by creating something from experience and going through those things. And I had a really good friend who taught me to look at things from a business standpoint as well. So I think about those things. But it's like, if you're a photographer, the problem you're solving is like you're giving somebody a beautiful piece of art to hang on their wall and look at, so that in the morning they see that and they feel peaceful, or they feel better, or they feel excited. You know what I mean? Or if you're making a movie or making YouTube videos, you're giving somebody something to watch to escape from their life, or to feel better about themselves, or you know what I mean? Like even Walmart, it's like, I don't really want to use them as an example, but it's like people go there to solve their problems and get things they need, and Walmart makes money. You know what I mean? Like that's how all business works. Totally forget what my point was with that, but essentially it all comes down to connecting with people. And the thing about social media is that it's always changing, and to be honest, if I had to start now, I don't know if I could give you an exact roadmap, because it's changed so much from when I started, and there's so many more people on there, and people are so much more numb to ads. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, it might be a little tougher to navigate, but I really don't think the principle changes at all. You know what I mean? If you can build a solid ship and you can build a solid foundation, it's like even if the seas are rough, you're still gonna make it. You know what I mean? Like it might be harder, it might take longer, but if you're dedicated to it and you're making sure that thing is strong, you're not gonna be stopped. You know? And again, like I said, it's, you know, after 10 years, it's your values change and you change, and you know, I really do try to focus on creating more. And you know, I wish that I could be my 16-year-old self, taking selfies every single day and replying for hours on Twitter. You know, but it's just not something that is natural to me as much right now. And it's not because I don't care, but it's because I feel like I built it to a point where the most important thing to me now is creating my best art and creating my best, you know, videos and whatever else I create, because that to me speaks more than a tweet will, because that to me is my way of giving back to people. And I don't know if that's selfish or not, but that's just kind of how I feel. And I do try my best to do live streams. Even making these videos was a goal for this year, because it is important to me to share more with you guys, and that's something that I realize I haven't done as much over the last couple of years. So that's something that I want to do with these and these podcasts too, and just try to pass on knowledge and help, you know. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that you can do if you want to build a following of any sort is to connect with people, and whatever you got to do that, do it. If that means you're sitting on the internet and you're going to, you know, a similar brand, whatever that is, music, photography, fucking selling crayons, you're going to a similar brand and you're following those people that follow that brand, or you're messaging them and saying, hey, I see you follow this people or this company or this musician, I also do this, and this is why mine is different, or this is like, I think you might like it, or here's like a free thing, here's a free song. Like, you just reach out, because if you reach out to 100 people and, you know, 5 of them reply and click on your link, and you do that every single day, it adds up. But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize how much work it takes to build your own business and to build a following. Like, it takes, like, it's all I've done every day for 10 years. Like, that is not a fucking lie. It's like, obviously, yes, I've had days and stuff where I'm chilling or whatever, but like that's been my focus for the last 10 years, has been music and SayWeCanFly, and you know, just creating stuff every day. You know, like, I'm thinking about it every day, I'm doing something every day. And you have to literally, if you really want it, there's no shortcuts, and that's the truth. Like, one thing that kind of bums me out a bit is every day on YouTube, on Facebook, I'm always seeing these ads for like, this guy made this much money in a week, here's how you do it. And it's always this like, oh, here's the secret, just like click here to learn more. And it's like, it really kind of pisses me off, because it's like, people are selling the idea of a shortcut to success, and they literally make money simply off of the idea of a shortcut. And it sucks, because that's what people are looking for, but you gotta realize that's not the case. If you want something that's solid and is gonna last you, and you want a career, it's gonna take all your fucking energy, it's gonna take all your brain power, it's gonna take your will, it's going to take strength that you never thought you could have, and you're going to fail, and you're going to fuck up, and you're going to go through things that you regret. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go through, it's a journey, and it's going to be a journey, and if you're not willing to go through that, like, truly deep down, then it's not for you. And I'm telling you that right now, just as someone who's experienced it and just being a little older now. You have to be willing to stick to it no matter what happens. You really do. And you have to literally know within yourself and have the faith that you're not going to give up. Even if it feels like it's the end of the world and nothing's working out and you feel like you're a failure, you have to know that you're not going to give up. And I read this like analogy a while ago, and it was just, I forget where I read it, but it was basically just, it was called 10 Feet from Gold. And it was this story about this guy, this miner who had been shoveling for gold or mining for gold for like years and years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, mining and mining and mining, and he never found it. So one day he just put down the shovel and he said, I'm done. And you know, the next day or a week later, some other dude came along and mined for another 10 feet. And 10 feet from where that guy set the shovel down was a massive gold mine. And it's just really just kind of a reminder that you never know what's coming. You don't. And if you give up, you're never going to find it. So you have to be willing to stick through that and realize that it's going to take time. Nothing happens overnight. It does not happen overnight. And sometimes maybe it does and people get really lucky, but something that lasts, you know, something that's solid and has a foundation. I think, to me, I would want that more than just having like crazy overnight success. You know, truly, like I want something that I feel I grow with and grows with me, and that changes with me. You know, like that to me is way more valuable. And that's what I've been blessed to have with SayWeCanFly, and I feel like I'll always have with that. No matter how my music changes or how people change that listen, how I change, I feel like it's always going to be this thing that is like just so integrated with me and with my soul and with me as a human being on this earth. And that's the way you got to look at it, you know? It's all a process, and you have to literally be willing to do anything it takes to get it. You have to, because if you don't, somebody else is going to do it, and they're going to succeed, and you have to realize that. And you have to know what success is for you. You have to set goals for yourself. You have to know like what you want, why you want it, and you really have to ask yourself those questions, like, why do you want it? And you know, just be honest with yourself. It's okay, whatever your answer is. But another thing too that I think I need to address is you can't listen to what people tell you. You can't. Like, you honestly cannot, because your parents are going to tell you that it's fucking stupid. They're going to tell you that you're never going to make money. They're going to tell you that you should be going to college. Your teachers are going to tell you that. Your friends might tell you that. Like, you can't listen. You can't. And I know that's a hard thing to face. And I think it's always important to keep an open mind and like take, you know, just don't like say shut up and like go away. Like, listen to what people say. I'm just saying, like, don't take it to heart. You have to know what you want. Know that you're going to do it no matter what people say. And you have to also remember that the reason that people will tell you that, like, why would somebody who is successful and doing what they love and making money and build their own business ever tell you that you can't do it? They wouldn't. So you got to ask yourself, who's telling you those things? People who never did that, people who never achieved their goals, people who never put in the work or tried. So because they didn't do it, they're convinced that you can't do it. But that's fucking bullshit, complete bullshit. And you gotta prove them wrong, and you gotta, you know, use that as motivation to prove them wrong. And you can't have a plan B. You just can't. And people who tell you that you can don't understand, because the moment you have a backup plan is you're literally saying to yourself, there's a chance that I'm gonna fail, so I'll do this instead. You have to literally know that you're not gonna fail. You have to know, like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck it takes to get this and to do this and to make a living from this. Fuck a backup plan, fuck a plan B, like, no. So I guess that's probably my best words of advice on that. And just know, like, it's gonna take everything you got to build your own business and, you know, build a following. I mean, it depends what you want to do. If it's just something that you want to do for fun, that's a little different. But if you want to make a life out of something and you want to live a comfortable life and be happy and be able to do what you want to do and not have to work a 9 to 5 that you hate, then you got to start now and you got to work at it every day. And you know, it's like, I'm thankful. It's like, I don't live in a fucking mansion, you know, but I don't want that. I live in a dope spot. I can sleep in every day if I want to. I try not to. And I'm just saying, like, I set my own hours. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. And you know, in a way, I feel like I kind of work for the people that follow me, because, like, I need to provide quality content. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm able to just, like, take a drive at 4 a.m. and, you know, like, go do whatever I want. Like, go somewhere. Or, you know, just, like, go on a little trip or something. Or just, like, buy something, you know? Like, I work for all that shit. But at the end of the day, I feel like I keep the value of, my main goal is to grow my art, you know? And the only things that I generally, like, invest in financially are tools to do that. I don't really have a lot of stuff. Like, I sold a bunch of my shit last year. I got rid of pretty much everything I didn't need, and I just have stuff that I need or is going to help my life and help me create better. Even something as simple as, like, a salt lamp. It's like 30 bucks, 20 bucks. I have 2 of them, but when I sit down to record and I turn those on, I turn my little neon strip lights on and light a candle, that sets a mood that helps me get more in tune with what I'm doing. So it's like, to me, that is an investment. Or this ring light or this camera, it's like, you know, you just got to reinvest in your business. So anyway, I feel like kind of hit the end of the train of thought, but hopefully that some of that helped. And again, if there's anything you want to hear or you want me to talk about, please leave a comment down below. Let me know. New podcast every Wednesday. This Friday I'm going to be releasing a cover of Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD, which is just a really cool, like, rap song, hip hop song that I really like. And yeah, it's just a fun little chill cover I did. Hope you guys like it. New EP will be done very soon. And Stay Cozy Clothing will be launching, hopefully, I'm hoping, like, end of February, early March. Just depends when I get my beanies, or my beanie patches. So yeah, really stoked. Actually, hold on. I just remembered I have I guess if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud, you can't see, but I got my beanies in. These are just the blank beanies. I don't know how well you can see them, but I'm going to be sewing Stay Cozy patches onto these. And then I also got these long sleeves, which I'm going to be printing the Stay Cozy design on. They actually fit super well. Probably won't be able to see them on this camera, but they're super comfy. I'm really stoked. So, soon. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching or listening. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss a video too. And if you want to check out previous episodes, I have 35, or I guess this is 36. So I have 36 out. Links are below, SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I will see you next week. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, drop me a comment. Alright, love you guys. Stay cozy. One more sip of coffee before we go. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.